Oh, why is my neck itching? Oh my gosh. Hey, hey. Thank you for joining today. My name is Dawn. This is my podcast that I keep calling it my podcast. It is a podcast. It just doesn't have a name yet. And so I'm recording all of these episodes with the hope of at the end of recording them that I will have a name that fits what this is. Because essentially, what this is are practical tips that I can pass down to my children with the hopes of it helping them if they ever should need it. And I want the same for y'all too, right? If I can help just one person to come out of a struggle or to feel like they are not alone or, just to have encouragement, then this podcast has served its purpose. So that's what this is. If by the time I launch these, I still do not have a name, I would love for there to be just like I could drop names in the comments or email me or whatever. But currently this does not have a name. It's just something that I felt called to do, felt led to do. So yeah, thank you for listening and tuning in. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching. Make sure that you like and subscribe. It feels so strange saying that. I always watch YouTube videos and it's like, make sure you like and subscribe. Damn, like, ow. But anyway, today I wanted to talk to you all about purging relationships. Purging relationships. One of the hardest things that has to be done in life, but I'm a firm believer that in order to bring in the things that you truly want, that you have to cut off the things that no longer serve a purpose in your life. And I know that might sound cold, but essentially that's what it is. Think about for my plant mamas, right? Or the plant guys, if there's guys watching or listening. Think about plants, right? When you have a plant, there are cycles that it goes through, right? And sometimes, not sometimes, in order for a plant to grow larger, some leaves will die or fall off, right? So some will just fall off by itself on its own, right? But then other times the plant leaves, they die and they sit there and they're an eyesore. But you have to, in order for the plant to direct the nutrients that it needs as a whole to grow, you have to cut off the leaves that don't belong there anymore, that are dead, right? Because if not, the plant is just directing energy into those leaves, and that's energy that could have been used somewhere else to make the plant bigger, to make the plant fuller, to make the plant healthier, right? And so the same is true with us. We're always pruning things, and relationships sometimes they just drop off, and like things happen and it's a mutual exchange, right? But what happens when it's not? What happens when you are around a person and you come away from that interaction feeling drained? And it's not just a one-time thing, but a regular occurrence, right? Every time you're around this person, you leave feeling drained. Well, that's not good. You need your energy, right? That's part of filling your cup. Your energy fills your cup. And if you are leaking energy because you're around somebody who is draining your energy, then you have to make a choice, right? So for me, this past year, not just 2023, but like the past 365 days or so, because I think it's probably gone on longer than that, have been a time of cutting and purging, right? And I don't regret it. I don't. I think that I am lighter now. I'm freer. I have, or I am, because I'm still in process, I'm making room for the relationships that serve me, that build me, that, like we encourage each other, where there's a mutual exchange. That's that's key to a relationship, right? When you're in a relationship, it's two parties and they're relating to one another, right? Like this person is talking and this person, and it's, back and forth in terms of conversation, in terms of time spent, in terms of energy exchange, right? Um, when I think about the people that are in my life currently that I have essentially like prayed for, um, the energy exchange is mutual. We spend time together. It's not always me initiating. We initiate back and forth. When I feel like calling my friends, I call them, and when they feel like calling me, they call me. There's no forcing or anything like that, but there's still reciprocity. We're thinking about one another, we're texting to let us know what we're thinking. And that might not necessarily be your mode of friendship or relationship. Maybe you don't, that's not your thing, but whatever your thing is, it should be reciprocated, right? And so I was taking inventory of my life, and I found that I was doing a lot of work and some of the other folks weren't doing any work. And so, you give people a fair shot. Open up the lines of communication and you express to them what it is that you want, what you're desiring, what you're looking for. Because when you value somebody, when you value a relationship, that's what you should do. I I just think that there's something to be said for communication, right? With people who you feel like warrant that communication, right? So, you open up the lines of communication and express yourself. And, sometimes it's not received well, or, they're like, okay, yeah, like I'll do better. And then they don't, or they make excuses for themselves. And, oh, I'm not really a phone person like that. Well, hey, I am, and that's why I call you. And if I don't call you, then it seems like we will never speak. And so these past days, year, um, it's just been a matter of discovering what I want in my friendships, in my relationships, and seeing if these relationships that are around, if they benefit me, if they're mutually beneficial. Um, if you're getting all of the benefit and I'm getting none, you're receiving all of my energy and I'm not receiving any of yours, then that's not a mutual exchange, right? We've had a conversation and nothing has changed. Maybe I've had two or three conversations with you. Maybe I've had 5, 10, 15, 20 conversations with you. At that point, it's too much. That the relationship, the leaves are dead. We've got to prune them off, right? And so it can be difficult to do that. Let's be real. You want the best for this friendship, this relationship, but you have to take an honest assessment of your needs, your desires, your goals. And if these people or this person is not in alignment with that, then what are we doing? And so the hardest part is when it's friends that you've had since childhood, or when it's family members, and This is not to say, you cut them off and discard them. Sometimes it's that, but it doesn't always have to be. You just move them to a different category where you're not expending as much energy with them, right? But sometimes folks can get upset behind that. They're like, oh, well, you're not moving the same way. You've changed. And then it becomes a thing. And that is when I start cutting and discarding, right? That's when it's time to reevaluate the situation, right? Because it's one thing to express your boundaries, right? It's one thing to express your desires, your goals for the relationship. It's another thing when you receive resistance, when there's gaslighting, when there is just disrespect. And I think that we have gotten away from what is deemed disrespectful and what is not, right? Removing people from your life it's not easy, but it's necessary. Just like we have our closets, that our closets only have but so much capacity. And once that closet is filled, there isn't room for anything else. If you try to add something else, it's going to be difficult. Everything is just going to look disorganized and disheveled. There just isn't room for anything else when you are holding on to pieces that you no longer wear, that no longer fit. Oh, well, maybe one day it'll fit. That, no, get rid of it now. Stop thinking about the future. Stop thinking about the past. What is the situation currently, right? What are you feeling in this moment? Are you able to fit this garment? If you are not, then put it aside and decide if you are going to give it away or what. But it has to get out of the closet in order to make room for the things that fit you currently. We are always changing. We are always in cycle, right? And so because of that, the things that used to fit us in the past, they may not fit anymore, and that is okay. But we have to be okay with letting it go, with not holding on to it, right? Because in the end, it only prevents us from adding the things that benefit us in the now, right? So the same is true with our relationships. Is it benefiting you now? I know that that can be perceived, that mindset can be perceived as selfish, but it's not. It's real. Is this relationship benefiting me in some type of way? Am I getting my needs met in this relationship? Because if you're considering that for yourself, then 9 times out of 10, you're considering it about the other person. You're pouring into that person, right? So are you pouring into somebody who is too busy to pour into you? Are you pouring into somebody who is so rigid that they can't be flexible in like providing you what you're asking for? If that's the case, they gotta go because in the end, you're the most important thing. And that's fact. You're the most important thing. Just like from their perspective, they are the most important thing. So you have to think about you. And, when you are ending a relationship, speak to that person in love because you thought that much of them to have them in your life, right? So don't just disappear. Speak to them. Let them know, hey, I've these are the things that I need and I've spoken to you about them before. They are not being honored. I'm going to have to step back from this relationship. I love you. I wish you the best. or whatever that looks like for you. Again, it doesn't always mean cutting off. Maybe it's just you're taking them out of one closet and putting them into another closet. So that way, when the seasons change, maybe this thing will fit again, right? But they cannot remain in the same closet, where the important closet, the primary closet, right? So hopefully this message helps. Hopefully I will say that I am lighter, freer, and I build up the courage. Like the more I choose myself, the more I let myself know that she is the most important thing first and foremost, and I've got her back, then she continues to speak to me and gives me the direction and the path, the intuition, Um, and you gotta trust that. If something is telling you, hey girl, this isn't right, you don't feel good in this relationship anymore, you gotta listen to it. You gotta listen to it. You just number one, life is too short. It's too much stuff going on out here. Um, People are getting hurt every day because they're holding on to relationships that no longer serve them, that their intuition was telling them to move away from. And I don't want that for you. I didn't want it for me. And that's why I had to start listening, because anytime I got an initial thought about somebody that wasn't positive and then went against that, it was just hurt. And with each hurt became a hardening of my heart, a skepticism that, if I had let it, wouldn't have allowed me to have the great friendships that I have today, right? Because I would have been so hard and so skeptical about the people that were coming into my life. So as you continue to, or as you continue, because you may already know this, and that's great. Um, but as you embark on this journey, just my advice is still try to stay open. Um, Still keep your heart soft, because as you do your spring cleaning, you want to be able to welcome in the people that truly belong. So, hopefully this was helpful to you. I will talk with you soon. Thank you for watching, listening, whatever we're doing here. I'll see y'all next time. Bye.